name is Eric Strebel. Welcome to another video of mine about industrial design. In the second part to my video, I'm going to show you how I build this little plastic sketch mock-up using mainly styrene parts. I'm going to kit bash today. That means I'm going to take a bunch of unrelated, random parts and put them together to make like a little exhibit mock-up for you. These are some old Motorola headphones. These are the little remote control parts of the headphones. I'm going to end up using them as the feet for my little exhibit display stand here. I'm just cutting everything apart to get it to where I can actually use the little pieces. I don't know exactly how they're going to go together yet, but I know that I need a bunch of parts. I cut off the little ends here because I want to clean off the parts, and I'm going to make little feet out of them. I file the pieces nice and smooth so I don't have any burrs or anything sticking out. And then I start arranging the parts in a way that I think might work well for this little exhibit. Alright, I'm pretty happy with the way those feet are going to work out for this little display. So I just lay them out on a piece of styrene and I trace around them, and I'm going to use that as my base to put everything together. Styrene is super easy to cut out, and then I just glue all the pieces together with a little bit of cyanoacrylate, super glue, hold them in place to get my base. I test out my little pole, I notch it, and I put a little bit more super glue in, and I see that it's dripped all over the place, and I move to a piece of wood. I drop on a little bit of accelerator here so that I can keep on working. Next, grab the heat gun, and I'm going to lightly heat up that tube. You notice I rotate the model, and I do that from all the directions so I heat it up uniformly and evenly, and then I bend this little tube to create an interesting little form. This is going to become the base of my display. I'm going to cut off the end pieces of one of these little sample panels that I have, also styrene. It was vacuum formed. I talked about that a little bit in my earlier video. I clean up the piece and I get a nice little interesting shape here. I trim off all the little burrs and I get it ready. I want this little curved element at the top to face down towards the user. It's going to be used to direct the sound from this display towards the user when they're standing in front of it. I decide to glue it on with a little bit of solvent. And here I'm just trimming out, notching the little curved piece so that it attaches to the pole really well. I use some little needle files for that to create a nice little surface that follows the pole so that I can glue it on. I put on a couple of drops of solvent, but I find that it's just not working for me and I need to move on with the project, so I drop a little bit of super glue on there, let that dry, put a little bit of accelerator, and boom, I'm moving on. So the solvent weld, while it's really the best for this plastic, doesn't always work, especially when you need to move forward and keep on sketching to flesh out your idea. At this point, I decide that the display needs a little bit of color, and I take a magazine and I find a nice graphic, and I'm going to lay this on the back of the curved top piece here just to add a little bit of visual interest. This could be a curved flexible LCD display, or it could be a fixed graphic, just to add a little bit of interest, and I felt it worked out really good. Next, I'm going to add the little speaker, and I'm going to use one of the headphones that I cut off before, and that works really nice. Now I'm going to add 3 displays or monitors onto this. So that when people walk up to this display, they can get a little bit of information about whatever product is being sold at this display, get some, watch some videos, get some product information. I'm just making a quick collar. It's going to go around the base tube of my mock-up here. I put in a little set screw, similar to the way it would be done in real life, but I'm just adding a little bit of detail. I glue it together and I go back to working on my monitors. Here I clip the corners of all of my displays just to make them a little bit more interesting so they're not so square. I use the runners from a model part because I want the supports to be black. So I just cut them off square, get them to the right length and size. I super glue them into place. I set them with an Insta-set, and I keep on going. Next we'll attach them onto the actual display. Now that I have the flat panels put onto the display, I need to add some graphics to really make them look like flat panels, so it's obvious. I have an old IKEA catalog, and I flip through that and I find some graphics of some lamps, and I cut them out, and I'm going to place them on the displays to make the displays actually look like displays, so that they have some nice pleasing graphics on there, and then when you look at this mock-up, you'll say, oh yeah, hey, I know this is a display, and that's what I'm looking at. I trim them out with a ruler, I get them nice, and I put them on the monitors. I adhere them onto the monitors with a glue stick, and the reason I'm using a glue stick is because using spray mount, kind of traditional, it just gets everywhere, and I don't have a really big shop, and I don't have a ventilation fan, so I'm just trying to be safe, and the glue stick works really well. So that's it. I built this little exhibit display. Probably took me less than 2 hours, and then I have something that I can photograph, I can sketch on top of, and I can continue to develop the idea. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel below. You can also follow me on Twitter, where I'm tweeting about products on this planet and different projects that I'm working on. You can also go to the Botzen website and sign up for the newsletter and get occasional updates about the different projects that I'm working on. Feel free to share this video on your favorite social media site and let your friends know about it. Rock on!